Hey everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. I think you can. I'm Jessica Dwyer and I'm Fangirl Cave Alpha right now. And I'm here to talk about this week's The Walking Dead. This was the supposedly last episode for Rick Grimes. And I know a lot of people were really stressing out about that. Um, a lot of people were having issues and what have you. But I think many of us knew that it wasn't going to be the last hurrah for Rick Grimes. That would be a major loss for the mythos of the show itself. So it wasn't really a surprise when we found out that Rick doesn't die. He just really should have. So and feel free, hi, someone's just joined us. Hello. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. I'm happy to answer anything that you have to ask me, be it about Fangirl, be it about The Walking Dead, be it about In Search of Darkness. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. But anyway, back to the episode. So, uh, this episode was beautifully done. I thought I really enjoyed it. I thought how they worked the journey as a way of kind of going back to the original first premiere episode of the show, which was all about Rick looking for his family, and how that kind of became that was really circular and well done how they planned this, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was beautifully shot and beautifully acted, and there was some amazing moments in it. And I know probably there are a lot of people. Oh, hello, Mark. Sure. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and give a little bit of a synopsis here, and there will be spoilers. It's all over the web already, anyway. And they kind of did a major announcement that doesn't really surprise me either on The Walking Dead. Hi, Jeremy. Um, or The Talking Dead. Excuse me, The Talking Dead, the show about a show that talks about the show. Um, so, big announcement, huge. Yes, it was. There are going to be multiple films following this the story of Rick, as well as other people, and they will also flash back to characters who are no longer on the show. That could possibly mean the return of Andrea, which I know there are a lot of Andrea fans out there. Some that weren't so much fans of Andrea, but there are fans of her out there. And there's also, of course, the fact that we might be able to see Shane come back too. But back to this episode, we'll get to that bit in a little while. This episode starts, of course, with the revenge of the horse, as I've dubbed it. Rick somehow manages to survive getting a massive piece of rebar through his guts and pulls himself by the will of God and the South up off of that rebar, and then gets on the horse that he actually just got tossed off of, and of course is followed by this huge herd who smells the blood and his innards that are leaking out everywhere. And the journey of Rick is basically he leads them to the bridge that has been a big centerpiece of this beginning of the season, and thinking that he can the bridge will collapse and it will destroy the herd and they'll fall off like lemmings. So as this journey progresses, Rick is dying slowly. He's hallucinating. He's seeing visions of the past. And a lot of people may be annoyed about the fact that where's Lori, where's Coral, in this. And the thing is, the characters that came back, which were Shane, Herschel, and Sasha, were characters that Rick had unfinished business with, characters that he felt guilt over. And it makes sense that he would, as he pretty much is sure he's dying, and as we all are, that he is talking to these people. And the Shane the Shane bit was great. Bernthal was fantastic. The two of them played off of each other just perfectly well. That was a really wonderfully done scene. Of course, the one that really destroyed me and probably destroyed many fans was Herschel. There was a lot of things going on in that scene. a lot of things, and it was beautifully done. Sasha was an interesting choice. I was surprised by it. I didn't think she was, they kept that one really quiet. And that was beautifully done as well because it recreated the 100th issue's deadscape perfectly. So by the end of the episode, of course, Rick blows up the bridge. Everyone thinks he's dead. Michonne has her meltdown. And Jadis, or Anne, however you want to call her, who's already trying to escape, sees Rick, finds him, puts him on the airplane or helicopter. There's so many helicopters. I don't know why. It's a lot of helicopters. But the helicopter to save him. And are we going to get Cyborg Rick later on? That would be cool, but I don't think that's going to happen. He'll probably just be normal Rick, but man, can't you imagine Cyborg Rick taking on zombies? That would be badass. So, of course, it's not the end of Rick Grimes. As the announcement was made on The Talking Dead, they're going to be doing a massive, massive film special. I'd heard the rumor previously about the feature film version of The Walking Dead. And yeah, Jeremy's correct. This is worth it of the Borg character of Jadis. She's become a lot better now that she's not a Borg anymore. But it's a really massive thing. AMC's going all in on this show and building a world around it. And they're going to have, like I said, flashback movies of characters that are no longer with us and things like that, which is pretty amazing. Everyone was saying that The Walking Dead was dead, no pun intended. It is not. Obviously, AMC is going whole hog on The Walking Dead. So the ending, as you know, there was always an ending. We see that there is a massive time jump, even bigger than the one that we had previously when we had the crossover with Fear the Walking Dead. And we see Judith Grimes taking up the reins basically from Carl, wearing the hat, got the gun, has the sword. She's been raised by a warrior. She's the daughter of a warrior, and it's pretty awesome to see. Although I find it really, in a show about the dead coming to life, I find it really hard to believe that little girl could fire that big ass gun and not be thrown backwards. That's the part I'm having trouble with. But that was a fantastic scene introducing Judith, who is adding credence to the other rumor that I'd heard that this season and in the show is really going to focus on female leadership and characters, and that isn't just personified in Michonne, who's taken up the reins as the leader. We've already heard that Maggie's leaving, so who knows how that's going to play out. I'm guessing Whispers is going to happen there with her. But you have Judith, who is a young girl growing up in this, being a fighter. And then you have the Whispers, as I mentioned, and Alpha and Omega, the leader of the bad guys. And it was pretty awesome to get to see that flash forward in the next 3 episodes, what's going to be going on. You didn't mishear it. You heard that voice going, and that wasn't zombies, that was the Whispers. And if you haven't read the comic, you're in for a treat with these guys. The Whispers are super, super creepy, horrible, evil badasses. And what they do, if you don't know, is that these characters they're a really evil group. And they're led by Alpha. And she is just a major, just badass, evil woman, just horrible. And she screws up a lot of our favorite people. And so be prepared for that. That's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of people dying if they follow the comic in that regard. Just prepare yourselves. But what they do is they wear the skins of the walkers and whisper, hence the name, to communicate to each other. And wearing the skins of the walkers allows them camouflage, and they are able to walk amongst the dead without any danger. And it's really creepy to think about that. And it's also really brilliant. And so in that the future episode preview that we had, that's who you hear. And I know a lot of people are probably like, man, the damn zombies are evolving. They're talking now. No, that is not them. These are the Whisperers, and they're wicked badass. And like I said, you've already heard some of the casting of the Whisperers. It's going to be happening. Yeah, it's going to be great. But this episode, like I said, let's go back to this episode for a moment and just really take in the fact that not only was this a beautiful send-off for Rick Grimes, but this was sort of a really beautiful, poignant send-off for Scott Wilson. And that scene, I'm never going to be able to watch that without crying because it was so perfect. And when he hugs him and says, I'm so sorry for what happened to you. That has a double meaning now. And with the fact that he passed away due to cancer. So that was just beautifully done. And it was just such a sweet moment. And I really, really thought that was the best send off they could have given him. As for the rest of the episode, the stuff going on with Negan, that's intense. I think that's a nice way to soften him up and show a humanity to him that a lot of people really hated because didn't see because of what happened with Glenn and with Abraham. But in the comics, you've learned this side of Negan. Because he was a teacher, he was a phys ed teacher, and it makes sense that he would bond with Judith, with the kids, because that's what he knew, and that's what he did when he was pre the Dead Rising. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I really can't wait to see how Michonne takes the reins in this. I think this may have been kind of a cop out for a lot of people. Maybe are going to be pissed off about it. Like, hey, he didn't die. That was all bullshit. But I think this is really the best thing they could have done. And it's opening up like this whole universe for AMC to create these stories and then these prequels and to let us learn more about these characters. And I have to say, seeing Eugene just being a badass makes me happy. So yay, Eugene. My mullet, although he doesn't have the mullet anymore. Did you notice? The mullet's gone on Eugene in that future. I like my mullet. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. I know a lot of people were, as I said, it was going to be, I was worried how people would take it because I'd seen it before it aired. And I wondered what the reactions would be to this, because it was a little bit of a haha, he didn't die, kind of thing. And but I think everybody's reactions so far have been really positive to it and what they're going to do. And I'm glad they didn't wait around on announcing the films. I think that was really smart because I think they learned before from trolling fans a little too hard what happens when you do that. So good job, AMC, on that. You're kind of winning me some respect back on those. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. I hope you guys enjoyed this little round table. I might do a couple more of these for future episodes if you guys like it, and maybe give you a little bit more prior warning so you can give some questions if you have them, and I'll be happy to answer whatever I can. You can ask me about whatever. I In Search of Darkness, which by the way, I just take a moment. In Search of Darkness, thank you guys that backed the project. We almost got 400% of our original goal, which is pretty amazing. And I'm really, really thankful to you guys for that because it just blew it out of the water. We're really excited. We just, by the way, Walking Dead, we just added Greg Nicotero to Thank you, Jeremy. We just added Greg Nicotero to the project. There's some other announcements on the way that you haven't heard yet, which is going to be pretty amazing. So yeah, thank you for that. I just wanted to add that in there, and keep watching the skies for more announcements on that one, and other things that are in the works. Like. But yeah, so any questions that you guys have for like upcoming stuff in Horror Hound, stuff with Fangirl, stuff I'm doing. So I just wanted to take a moment to. The radio show is still alive. It's not as often as I want to do it. I'm going to work on that. But we will get more on there. Next year, the goal is to do another Halloween special. Because the last ones we've done have done amazing. You can find those on iTunes, and they were so much fun. They're a lot of work, but they're really fun. And like we had our special guests on the last one. Mr. Greg Nicotero was in our first episode special that we did, Halloween special. In our third special, we had Mr. Mark Meir and Mr. Doug Jones. So I've already talked to Mark about possibly returning in some capacity to our radio special and our Halloween special for next year. I've got to figure out who we could get for some more guest stars, because the idea I have is going to be a pretty amazing one if we can pull it off, and it will be a lot of work, but I'm looking forward to trying to do it and getting it out to you. Last one almost killed me because I did it basically all the editing and everything on my own, and it was only an hour and something long, but that will mess you up if you don't have sleep for 48 hours. And yeah, I broke down crying at the end. It was a good time. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that's going on, and I've got a lot of things in the works, so I'm really excited about that. All kinds of good stuff. And so yeah, thank you for listening to this review and recap. And The Walking Dead has won me back. I was worried there that they were kind of going off the rails, but with this episode, if they can keep cranking them out like this show is back. 9 years of this, and they've managed to reinvent it in a way, and that's pretty amazing. Same can't be said for that show. Don't even get me started on Doctor Who. But anyway, this was great. I'm glad you guys tuned in. This was fun. I hope you enjoy this, and we'll be posting this up. So you can relive me babbling. But thank you guys for joining me that have stuck around, and the ones that came and went. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you guys so much. And yeah, maybe I'll do this next week too when the episode airs. So talk to you soon. Bye.